GMB Pros, welcome everyone that is on the live. Those that are on the replay, I appreciate you guys. Let me go live on Facebook here, go live. And let's see. Got it. So guys, welcome everyone. Welcome Tuesday, beautiful Tuesday. Those that are here, Harry, Bad Coffee, Dave has his note-taking app in here. Thank you. Appreciate everyone. Appreciate everyone. Those that are watching the replay, you guys are awesome. And guys, I know a few of you have hit me up about replays. Those should be going up on Sundays normally. Where William is staying at the moment, he doesn't have great internet, so we might be a little bit behind on that. I do have some of your messages on Messenger. I will hit you guys up with the replays if it doesn't get up here soon. But I appreciate you guys. Today, one of my favorites, my fan favorites, Drew and Matthew. I appreciate you guys. So we're gonna switch it up a little bit with a quick follow-up for the next time they're gonna be here. I think it'll be great. That subject that you gave me, that topic, Drew, before we end, I think we should give it out to them. That way they can have something to look forward to. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you guys have used what Drew and Matthew have given us in the last 2 weeks on sales, qualifying questions, right? Uncovering the pain, making yourself different in how you approach the clients as far as qualifying them, just different, right? Our solution takes 5 minutes to explain, guys, but we want to make sure we understand the client, we understand that they qualify, make it about them. So very, very much, I would definitely suggest you guys rewatching it. I enjoy it. I've watched it, took it down some questions. Matthew does a very good job, very meticulous on what exactly and why, and that it makes sense. So he gives you the questions, why, and if it makes sense to us, and both Drew and Matthew have given us access to them. Please reach out to them. They're pretty open, great sources, especially with sales. But today's subject, guys, I wanted to talk about, and me and Drew talked about it a little bit, is LinkedIn a good prospecting platform, right? Is LinkedIn a good prospecting platform? I knew Drew and Matthew live on there. They have found very much so great success on there. So if you guys can kind of maybe take it from your perspective, right? Is it a good platform? Is it for everybody? What successes you have found? So hopefully, if you're not on there, I can tell you for sure, Drew, if you go back even further, gave over the shoulder examples, what to do, messaging, why, how, where, when, the whole nine over the shoulder. If you want a done for you system, I've been a part of that system. Drew has an excellent system, right? Gives you different options. Even will give you the whole thing if you want. So just as an option for you. But before that, Drew, Matthew, is LinkedIn a good prospecting platform?
Yeah, thanks for the awesome intro there, Alfred. I think we both love being a fan favorite. Yes. But yeah, so that's a great question. You can break that question so many different ways. Is it a great platform? Absolutely. I mean, our business by itself evolved from LinkedIn alone when we first started out, and kind of almost became about 70 to 75% of our business came from LinkedIn, and it still does. We have a good chunk still coming from LinkedIn. So it's not that it's a bad prospecting system at all. It's just evolved. You might have run into some conversations out there. Oh, it's just spam. It's just a bunch of spam coming through. Well, yeah, of course, because everybody's doing it now. However, the difference that you need to do to become successful at it is to evolve with the system. Like, it's not the same strategy as it was 4 years ago. We can't just blast out guerrilla marketing style and hope for the best. Sometimes you can always have that running, but the most effective way to do it kind of touches on what we were teaching in the sales is pre-qualifying, doing it in a way where it's indirect rather than a very direct approach. That is what we've been seeing lately that's been very successful, is instead of being like everybody else and saying, hey, do you need a website? Or, hey, are you looking to run ads? Or, hey, do you need your GMB optimized? Or, whatever that might be, right? It might be time to start taking a little bit of a different approach. And, I'm glad we had that sales class, over the last couple of weeks, because it sparked an entire thing on my side, is to really dive a little deeper. And how can I continue to improve and evolve with the system? And that's what we've been really testing out over the past couple of weeks now, is how can we take this to the next level? Well, we've created something called the 30 days of outreach. And what we do is we can take a prospect or a potential contact and take them through a set of sequences that last an entire month to get them to convert into some kind of conversation. Okay. And it's not just LinkedIn, but it's utilizing LinkedIn and email marketing as well. But taking that further and really doing a lot of research around who you are targeting. So when we go back to saying pre-qualification, we're not just looking for people, we're looking for companies. We want to find the company first and then break down their employees and then find who we want to target. Okay. So it's not just as simple as going in, running a quick little list in Sales Navigator. Let's do it differently. Let's find the account first. For example, if I was going after Dunkin' Donuts for some reason, I'm going to look up Dunkin' Donuts. I'm going to find Dunkin' Donuts owner. I'm going to find the founder. I'm going to find the district manager. I'm going to find the manager. I'm going to find anyone that I can potentially reach out to, all the way down to that manager of the store, right? And that's going to kind of change up this strategy a little bit different than instead of going directly after like the owners, how we have been doing, right? So, I know that was a kind of a long answer there, but I wanted to kind of segue that into what we're going to teach you guys today, is how to approach it with a more indirect approach. Matt, if you want to kind of chime in a little bit too.
Yeah, so hello everyone, Matthew here. Drew, that was awesome. Thanks for explaining that. So in the copywriting world, right, some of you know direct and some of you know indirect. Just so we generally know there's actually four types, okay, of outreach. There's direct and indirect, and then there's super direct and super indirect, okay? So an example is direct is telling them immediately that they're a sale opportunity, right? So, hey, how are you doing? I'm in marketing. Do you need marketing? Is an example of direct. Those work if you do it properly and qualify first. Then you have super direct. Super direct is telling them the price, the guarantee, literally just going all in. I guarantee for 30 days, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, for this much money. That's super direct. Okay. So we are now playing with indirect, as people have been complaining about spamminess of the direct and the super direct messages. So we've been playing with the idea of indirect messages. An indirect message, okay, or let's just say in real life, an indirect thing would be, hey, I'm hiring. Do you know anyone that would be good at this job? And really, I'm hoping this person is good at this job, right? So that's a direct or a slightly indirect, right? Or asking questions, learning about them, gaining information, using empathy first, right? All of that, like you said, the 30-day rule, that would be indirect. And then super indirect would making it seem to them like you're not interested in them at all whatsoever. You're interested in other people and other connections. Hey, I know you might be busy. You're a giant company, and I know you absolutely wouldn't work with us. But do you know anyone that would be willing to work with a company like me to get X, Y, and Z results? And so that's going to be super indirect. So then we're going to get back to what Drew's talking about. Drew is talking about having a conversational approach, a personal approach, asking questions and learning about their business and them as a person first. We talk about creating rapport, right? And so for now years, we've been creating rapport in 20 seconds or 2 minutes. But Drew's talking about building rapport over 30 days and creating a predictable revenue over time. So if you can hit up 50 people a day and you get 5 results or 5 responses, and out of those 5 responses, you're going to sell this much, right? You can now predict how much you're going to make every single month. So Drew's talking about using this indirect approach rather than just completely directly pitching them, which is what we've been doing for years. We've been using the indirect approach, but now he's going to talk about this 30-day outreach plan that we've created.
Absolutely. So sorry about the dog going off in the background, by the way, but I'll try and mute if I have to. So thank you, Matt, for explaining that as well. When we do this type of approach, and I'm not saying to turn off the other stuff either. Okay, so we want to have multiple campaigns running. So don't forget when we're talking prospecting, you want to split your eggs up in as many baskets as you possibly can, right? You want to have Facebook going, you want to have Instagram going, you want to have advertising going if you can. You want to have your prospecting going, outreach, email marketing, LinkedIn, right? We can do direct approaches like that the entire way and just have that running because you'll get those leads trickling in, right? But this is more of making it more predictable so that we can, as an agency owner, sit back and say, if I hit up these many people every single month, I'm going to get these many leads. That's going to turn into these many sales. That's going to turn into this amount of money that I'm making every single month. Okay, that's the goal. We want to be able to predict that. So in order to do that, we need to build up our pipelines of qualified accounts. All right. And the first step that we're going to do, let me go ahead and share my screen too, so we can kind of walk through this a little bit more effectively. But first thing we want to do is utilize what you have, right? So if anyone's doing LinkedIn prospecting, you need to have Sales Navigator. That's the only way that you're going to really be able to hone in on your target. Okay. Sales Navigator goes for like what, $90 a month, $100 a month,
Yeah,
something like that.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. Okay. So definitely go after Sales Navigator. Get that first. What you're going to do is you're going to have access to what's called leads and accounts. Over the last couple of videos that we talked about LinkedIn prospecting, we were going over leads. Okay. Lead filters. That's looking for individuals by their title, their industry, etc. Okay. What we want to start with instead is accounts. So we want to go to the account filters. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be looking for companies and putting them out by, let's say they make at least $500,000, right? Let's say.
Let me expand on something that you're talking about a second too.
Yep.
So the reason he's talking about accounts is typically a lot of us are looking at people as leads, okay? And so this is a shift in perspective. In this perspective, the lead is not going to be a person. The lead is going to be a company, okay? A company that we know is qualified, a company that we know needs our services, that probably has the money for our services, right? And all of these things. And then we are going to talk to a bunch of people inside of that company until they can pass us to a decision-making person as an internal referral. And because they've referred us, that important person is way more likely to listen to us because we've spoken to that person and had actual conversations and they introduce us. It's going to make a drastic difference later on when we actually go in for the sale.
Yep. So the first thing that I usually do is I'll come in here and I'm thinking, I already know what my qualifications are. So you should already have your customer avatar at this point. We're not talking about that right now. Okay. So you should know that my customer avatar, that perfect company makes somewhere between $500,000 to $5 million. Your range might be different, but let's just say, 500,000 to 5 million range. We know that they're a smaller company, so it's going to be either 1 to 10 employees or maybe up to 50 employees in some cases, depending on who it is. So I can set company headcount to filter that as well. And then let's say that we want to make sure they're headquartered in, the US. Let's get a little bit more specific. Let's just say Maryland, for example, right? So I want to only target companies in Maryland. And then even further, what industry am I looking at? Well, a lot of us go after like contractors and things like that. That's really big in the SEO world to get those service type businesses. So let's just say professional services. We could also take a look at construction as another keyword in there that we can take a look at, just as an example. Let's see, construction.
We're at 3K results.
Yeah, so we're at 3,000 results. Sorry, my Zoom screen was in the way there. All right, cool. So we're about 3,000 results right now, right? So I have about 3,000 companies here that fit within my industry that I'm looking for, that are in my geographic location that I'm looking for, about the right company headcount, and about the annual revenue that I'm looking for, right? So what we want to do now is take a look at these actual companies. Now, you guys might need a VA for this, okay? This can be time consuming, but you also want to try it yourself and understand the process before you hand it off to someone. But do a little bit of research before you go ahead and save this as a lead. All right, so if I'm looking at Landmark Roofing, I'm going to actually click on their profile, open up this window right here. And right here, what Sales Navigator does for you, it lists out the employees and it lists out the decision makers right there for you. So I could click on these and I can find out, okay, who's the decision makers? These three profiles right here are the decision makers. Okay. Jump back to where we were.
You might check out you might make sure that they're using social medias as your qualification, right? Because maybe you do social media management. You might check their websites for their qualification. You might make sure they have a minimum of 10 people on LinkedIn as their qualification so that you know that there's enough people, right? So there's a lot of things, information in here that we can use as qualifications. And all of us are going to have different qualifications, but this allows us to sell bigger packages and to companies that can afford our package without us having to worry about whether they can afford it or not.
Right. So if I'm looking to do a website, or if I'm looking to do SEO on this website right here, all of us have our ways of checking certain things, right? So we all know to do a quick check on the performance, and we all know to do a quick check to make sure that the headers are in the correct spot. This website has 2 H1 tags. What does that tell you? Right? That they have too many H tags already. So that's already a selling point. And then I can hurry up and, open up this and run a quick, Google page speed just to take
you already know all this.
We already know that they failed their core vitals, and we already know they have too many H tags. So this would be a good opportunity to sell SEO to, right? I like the way of their website. I don't see anything wrong with the website per se. Looks like your typical cookie cutter landscape or roofing website.
So go through your qualifications, your audits, the things that will help you make sure that this is a qualified sale for you. And so that
you can always check out the copyright to see, when was this built? Typically, they forget to change the copyright to 2021. So it's been a couple of years. Maybe they need a refresher, right? I would say this fits as what I'm looking for in this scenario, right? So they make a certain amount of money. They have a certain amount of employees. There are key indicators that this is a good sale opportunity. So I can pitch these guys if I had them in front of me, okay? So now what we want to do is we're going to go back up here. I'm going to save this as a lead. So I'm going to create my own new list of accounts. I'm just going to say qualified
construction, Maryland.
Construction lead, right? And then go ahead and create your own custom list. All right. And now let's go back and take a look at some more. So we just do that over and over and over and over again until you have a list of about, let's say, I would start with about 10 companies. Okay. So 10 solid companies that you can create a list off of. That's not 10 people that we're reaching out to. That's 10 companies. Because look, one company has 22 people that we can reach out to, or 20, 25, right? So I would click all the employees on here, and I know that this is already qualified. So now I'll start building out a lead list, right? Instead of an account list. So after you have your account list built, you go down every single company and you start building out the lead list. Now I know that the strategy that we're doing is a little bit different than what we did before. So we can hit up every single employee on this list instead of just the decision maker. Okay. So we can go ahead and select all. There's only about 7 that are actual legitimate profiles on here, which happens. You just hit save to list. And then what we're going to do, put them into our contractors list, or make a new list, whatever you do. I'll just throw them into this contractor list right here. And you just rinse and repeat. Okay. So we'll do that over and over again from our accounts filter.
I want to see that this qualification process obviously takes way longer than some of the other things people are doing. But if you can get yourself to do this, it is worth it. Your lead quality is so much better. And then you can pass this off to a salesperson. As we like to say, if you do this part really, really well, your salesperson can pretty much suck at their job and still get it because you've made sure that all the pieces are in place first before they even got there. Okay. And so that's the benefit of this. It takes longer in the front end, but it makes a drastic difference on the sale end and the quality of sale and how much you can sell things for.
Yep. If anybody wants this lead, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and drop that in the Zoom real quick. Or it's just roofingbylandmark.com if you want to take a crack at this company. Anyways, so that's how we would start building that out. All right. Now, what we do is we use some kind of automation tool, some kind of system, some kind of setup to help us through this prospecting adventure that we go through. On LinkedIn, as we said in a bunch of our videos, we use a tool called Ulink. Okay, Ulink is again something you have to be invited to. There's tons of tools out there. You can use your own, doesn't matter. But Ulink has treated us well over the past several years. The system evolves with the times. It actually has its own built-in algorithm that I've rarely see ever get shut down. So we've never had any technical issues with this particular tool. If you want access to it, we'd be more than happy to share access. So feel free to reach out to us, if you have any questions about gaining access to anything that you see here. But what we would do is we would take our lists, we would upload it into one of our accounts, right? I already have some lists going right now. Okay, I'm doing a test run on website design for this strategy right now. Okay, so what we would do is we would load it up into our search, and we would take our sales navigator list, put it in here. If you want to know the exact steps, review some of the older videos. I'm not going to waste time going through that stuff.
We also have a course.
Yep, we have a course too that actually does step by step showing you exactly how to do this. So Matt can drop that course in the chat if you want to, Matt. But we'll load it up, and then what we'll do is we'll set up our campaign. Okay, so we set up a campaign, and I'll just show you the one that I already have. And what we're going to do this time is we're going to have multiple steps, not just one, not just 2 steps. We're going to drag it out a little bit further. Okay, so what we're going to do first is do our burger pitch. We love that introduction. It seems to do very well, so I'm not changing that as our introduction. And instead of saying on the second message, instead of saying, hey, do you need a website? We're going to take it much slower of an approach. What we're doing here is, hey, first name, I'm Drew with LUD Marketing, the service disabled veteran small business. I'm doing some research on your company to see if we're a good fit to work together. May I ask how your website team is organized? Okay, that's message 1. I didn't say anything about selling them. I didn't say anything. I literally told them outright, I am doing research on your company because I am, right? Nothing there is very salesy at this point. Now, if they don't respond, let's get a little bit more assertive, but we're still researching. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll follow that up with, I'm serious first name. I'd love to learn more about your company. When would be a good day to chat? Okay. And I keep that open-ended. I'm not saying book a call. I'm just saying chat. We can chat through Messenger. We can chat on the phone. We can chat through email. It doesn't matter. Okay. If they don't answer to that one, I'm just going to follow that up again and just say, hey, just bumping this to the top, making sure you saw this. And then I just drop the original thing that I said the first time, which is, again, I'm doing some research on your company to see if we're a good fit to work together. May I ask how your website team is organized? Okay.
For anyone, I would just like to make a little note for anyone who has never done something like this, who doesn't reach out to people, manually reach out to people, you feel like you're annoying people, you're worried about it, and things like that. I would just like to say this. People hate advertising until they need it. Then it feels like good timing and a coincidence. Okay. So don't feel bad about it. We all hate commercials until we need exactly that commercial and in that moment. And the moment we do, we just go buy it. Okay. So don't feel bad about it. Just try these techniques, try reaching out to them, and you'll get better and better over time.
And what's funny about that is I have an example for that exact thing that Matt just said in my inbox right now. I can show you guys. So hang on to that thought. Is that don't feel like this is spammy. Don't be worried or scared to do this type of outreach, because you just, like Matt said, just like advertising, you ignore the ads until you actually need it. So it's just like they'll ignore the message until they actually need it. Okay. And then, or maybe they don't know that they need it, but by you doing these qualification questions, it opens up that conversation. All right. So take a gentle approach. It doesn't have to be this question. This is just one of our pre-qualification questions that we start with. May I ask how your web team is organized? That might not make sense to a lot of people, but it gets them thinking. And then we just follow that up with just bumping this to the top, send the original offer. And then the last one, I say, I've reached out a couple times, but I haven't heard back. I'd love to learn more about your company. Again, when would be a good day to chat? Okay. This is about 5 steps long in this sequence. I'm not going to dive into like the big strategy, because I'll save that for later on in other videos, of course. But this is the basic start of it. All right. Now, if we look at our inbox over here, let's take a look at how this has been transgressing. I've gotten a lot more replies ever since starting this strategy. And you'll see that we get about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, anywhere between 5 to 7 responses a day. Okay. Now, what we're testing right now is how many of those turn into actual possible lead opportunities.
I would like to say too, and 5 a day is what you want to keep it around to. The reason for that is you don't want these messages to get lost in the sauce, right? People are like, oh, I can do 100 messages a day. Yes, possibly, but if 10 of those deals start to go through, can you manage all 10 of those deals yourself and make sure, right? So just make sure that it's a manageable amount. That's why we talk about 5 a day. We want 5 responses a day. 5 responses a day. I can manage 5 responses.
Yep. Absolutely. So let me just go ahead and to kind of click on one of these just to see where we're at. So let's go down to the sequence, right? So we remember the steps, right? So we sent him the first message. Hey, Scotty, I'm always open to chatting about business or even the best burger you've ever had. He just accepted my connection request and didn't respond. It triggered the second one. Hello, Scotty. I'm Drew with LED Marketing, SDVOSB. I'm doing some research on your company to see if we're a good fit to work together. May I ask how your website team is organized? No response. Went to the next one. I'm serious, Scotty. I'd love to learn more about your company. When would be a good day to chat? Okay, Drew, what's a good number to reach you? Right? So even being assertive got him to finally open up. I gave him our phone number. This guy might not be a good fit because he doesn't have the money, right? So these are the things we want to look for. Remember those red flags we talked about last time? So we want to be cautious, right? So does 115, 130 look good? Honestly, I do not have the money to update my website right now, but I can use some tips when I am ready. This might be a contact that I can hang on to for later, so I'm still going to entertain it. I just know ahead of time he doesn't have money, so I'm not going to waste my time. It'll probably be like a 5 to 10 minute phone call. That's it. Okay.
Yeah,
So don't take too long, but you've created a contact, and if you can give this person good advice or good value, could be a future lead. Who knows, right? So I'll just store it into my database.
exactly. But yeah, when you
Go ahead, Matt.
it's like you said, check out those red flags. Make sure that you're looking at these things beforehand, because the whole point of this is qualifying so that you don't waste time on the sales call. Qualify, 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 so you don't waste time on the sales call. As he said though, do good things for good people and good things come back, right? So that's still a rule we follow just in general in our business, is still doing good things for people. Sometimes we'll give advice if we can offer at the time, little things like that. And it really does bring things back, brings in referrals, brings in partnerships, things like that. So don't waste your time, right? But also don't be stingy if you can afford to give.
Right. Absolutely. Any questions so far? I'm going to go through a couple more of these so you guys can kind of see how this is turning out. But like, for example, look, another one, same day. These are 2 responses back to back. I already got 2 potential opportunities out of this strategy. Same thing. This is the example that I was talking about that Matt just said. Hello, Derek. I'm always open to chat about business or even the best burger you ever had. No response. Hello, Derek. I'm Drew with LED Marketing. I'm doing some research on your company to see if we're a good fit to work together. May I ask how your website team is organized? Drew oddly needs some help as he's designing a new one right now. Talk about timing, okay? And I even said that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just perfect timing. I'd be
And this
happy to help
happens
you.
often.
Do you
This
have time
happens very
tomorrow
often.
for a quick call to go over it? And then I circled back because he didn't respond. Does 10:30 Wednesday work? He gave me his info. I have his phone number and his email right now, and a book time that I can give him on a phone call. Okay. Kind of doing this a little bit backwards. We are not setting calls on the calendar unless they outright say, give me your calendar. I'm trying to generate phone calls first
Discovery.
to do a quick discovery. I'm not doing a sales pitch yet. Okay. So I'm doing a quick discovery. I'm going to get on the phone with this guy, learn about his project, get off that call in 5 to 10 minutes. That's the goal. And in that time, I'm going to ask him more questions. I'm going to figure out how much his budget is. I'm going to figure out what the scope of the work is. I'm going to see if I'm a good fit to complete that work. And I'm going to see if it makes sense for my company to take that job.
And if it is, all these things are qualified, the prospector, who in this case is Drew, passes it now to the salesperson if you have that. But that's the point, is the prospector does all this amazing qualification. If you have a VA or something that you can teach us stuff, they do all these amazing qualifications. They pass it off to a salesperson, and this salesperson knows they're not wasting their time.
I am actually double checking. Let's see, we're sure tomorrow 10:30.
Excuse me, do you think you could put up a invite code? This is a bad coffee for your unlink.co.
Oh,
So
the you.
for the U-Link, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yes.
so
Yep.
yeah. There's no way to get into the website, or there's nothing about contacting them.
Oh yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
straight up
Yep.
login page with no create a button or anything like that.
yeah,
So
so
we
Ulink is a proprietary service that our company was grandfathered into. The only way to get into Ulink is to be invited from another marketing company, such as someone like us, a referral code, and get in. They don't really want this program getting out there. So it's a trust and shared business only. So we will absolutely share a referral link with you.
Yeah,
wonderful.
so yep. We'll drop a link that you'll just fill out a form.
Or
And if you want access to the dashboard's free, so we can get you approved for free.
Good.
And then if you want to hook up an account, that's when they'll actually charge you. It's like what is it, like 75
Like
bucks?
$75 every time you go to automate an account. So think about it as every time you automate a LinkedIn profile, it's going to cost you about $75.
Okay, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
I
And
have
then plus,
another request. If you have a moment or when you're finished with your presentation, um, what I'd like you to do is bring up the Sales Navigator. My niche is I'm trying to contact immigration attorneys near Tijuana, San Diego border area, because my niche involves asylum applications at the border. So I would like to contact immigration attorneys to see if they need somebody inside Tijuana to do their legwork at the consulate in Tijuana. Most attorneys in the USA don't want to travel to Tijuana because of security reasons. But since I'm already there, I don't mind going to the consulate and handling all their paperwork for them. So I'd like a list of attorneys that specialize in that. Uh, and I think your presentation would be a good source for immigration attorneys. And I see you're bringing that up now. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's not difficult. They're on here. You can find them for sure. I just did a quick search of companies. Yeah, for immigration attorneys, it might be
type in
easier to go on
UCIS.
Indeed.
Type in UCIS.
It might actually be a little easier to
Drew.
find them on the. Yep, say that again.
Type in UCIS instead of immigration attorney.
Yeah, that's the governmental entity, but I want to contact the attorneys, not the government.
Yes. Oh no, Drew, you have to go to leads for this one. We're on
Okay.
Gotcha. Yep. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Sorry. So that one didn't work.
UCIS,
Yeah.
it'd be US, it'd be United States Immigration and Naturalization Service, not UC. That would UC
So
is
to clarify for you, right? The trick is finding as many keywords that people will use to type it in. So some people are going to write immigration attorney in their profile, while some might write an immigration lawyer, while some might write a UCIS specialist, so the trick is going to be in this. The secret over time is finding all the different keywords you can use to find your target market inside of that. So any kind of keyword we could think that they might type in, and the most common ones.
great. Yeah, I understand that because I've been dealing with the Google search page for about 10 years now, and they're
Yeah, so
always
same
trying to
rules
throw
here.
new keywords at me.
Yeah, so it'll be the same rules here. He's got 100K results for this one.
Yeah, so you'll have to definitely dwindle that down.
We want to noodle that down to the San Diego area.
Just as an example, let's see here, San Diego.
Or just California, for instance, because
Yeah,
this would all be done via
1,000.
email from
yeah,
the attorney.
you have about 1,000 results to kind of filter through in San Diego. So yeah, you definitely have the ability to do that.
Yeah, that's a terrific.
Mhm.
It does is Sales Navigator is that a paid app by LinkedIn or is that available as a premium payment to LinkedIn? How does that work?
Yep, just go to LinkedIn, and then on the when you're logged into your profile on the upper right hand side, it usually says Premium or Sales Navigator up there on the right, and then you want to buy what's called Sales Navigator Core. It is a paid extension of LinkedIn, but it gives you access to this database.
So we want to make sure we stay on target. So
Yeah.
let's try to save our questions if you want to put them in the chat, and then we'll reach back and answer those. So I don't want to
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to set up a call with us too if you want to chat more
yeah,
about
and I put you can put the questions on here, not a problem. I just want to keep
Exactly. And then I also
presentation
put
on.
the link inside of the chat. So there's two links inside the chat for anyone who doesn't know. We have two separate courses. The $97 Build Your Own $250,000 Agency course just teaches you how we made $250,000, teaches you our first $250,000 using all of our secrets. And the second one is just the Dominate LinkedIn SOP series, which is teaching this. Everything that we're doing here is teaching this. And every time we update and learn new secrets, we add that in there. And so that's that second link that's in there.
Awesome. So as we could say, I mean, I got 2 leads right off the bat, right? 2 opportunities, two ones that I'm going to be calling tomorrow. You know, now, and like the idea of this stage is we're not going for the win right away. We're going for the pre-qualification is what we're doing. Okay. That's why it's a longer process. It's longer because we have to pre-qualify manually by setting up these lists the right way. You know, we got to do a lot of research to make sure they're actual good targets that we want to target. So we want to look for those key things, go to their website, check them out first before we put them into the list. And then what we want to do from there is not give up when someone says no, or when someone responds something negatively, right? So like, for example, Vicky, she responded saying, I'm my own web team currently, right? Which is when I'm looking for qualification, I'm not looking for competition. I want to make sure they don't have a web team, right? So that passed my green check right there. I'll reach out when I need help to see if there's a fit. She said that because in my copy, I wrote to see if we're a good fit to work together. Okay. But what she missed on is I'm just doing research at this stage. Okay. So I'm not going to, some people might get scared to respond to that. I'm going to take that as a way to continue the conversation. I'm not going to just give up because she said, I'll reach out when I want to see if there's a good fit. I'm going to say, thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing, Vicky. You know, I'll kind of just make it up as I go too, but sometimes a one-person team, sometimes a one-person team is better than 10, you know, whatever, right? Anything to kind of keep that conversation going. And then I'll turn it to, I'm just doing some research. At this point, tell me a little bit more about the Gordon Group.
Mm-hmm. Asking questions about them makes them feel really good. Using their name makes them feel really good. So repeating back their name. Don't do it too often. And then I just realized the one thing we haven't pointed out, I mean, we've said it in all of our videos, but right there in the bottom, it says their email. We will also send an email to them that says, hey, I also reached out to you on LinkedIn. Right.
Yeah, haven't gotten to that secret sauce yet. I want to kind of show you guys the basics before we start getting confusing.
Yeah,
Because remember I said 30 days of outreach in the beginning, right? This is only a little bit of the sequence. But this is like step 1. This is that first piece of it, is we want to start the conversation off very indirect in a way where it's all about pre-qualifying to a list that we already pre-qualified, right? So we already pre-qualified the list. Now we're just doing some probing questions to make sure that it is a good fit for us, not for them, for us. And then once we are on that call with them, that's our opportunity to really find out what the pain points are. What are your challenges? I see this on your website. Is that something that you noticed in your business, right? If their performance on the website is bad, are they not converting their leads? You know, these are all little tiny questions you can kind of filter in, but you know enough information about who this person is and their company because you did the research already, right? So you take that onto the discovery call with you. Once you know that there is an opportunity to take it further, that's when you want to almost sell the sales call, right? Don't sell the service, sell the actual sales call. So by the time you're done and you know it's a qualified lead, if you feel that there is that interest on the other side, just say, okay, so here's what I would like to do next. Why don't we schedule another call for next week? Let's get on a video chat because now we're on the phone, right? Let's go on a video call and let me show you a few things. Why don't we, go over a few things? I can show you how I can fix some of these issues. Set the sales call then before you get off the phone. then you have an opportunity to sell it, right? So that's the difference. Just more of a two-step process to getting to the sales call, instead of just trying to go after it right away, right?
Yeah.
Vicky already responded, by the way, to what we
Yeah. Okay, so we only have a few minutes left. So tying everything back in together, like we're saying, the whole point of all this, the 30 days of outreach. Okay. So the 30 days of outreach. Now we're starting here. We're doing this on LinkedIn. The 30 days of outreach is essentially a plan of what we're going to say to them on day one, what we're going to say on day three, what we're going to say on day five, and how we're going to reach on out to them. Drew, would you like to expand on that? We've got about 5 minutes left, I think.
So the 30 days of outreach.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's all about touch points. All right. So think of touch points being, and I'll break this down. We'll have to do another call on this. So maybe 2 weeks from now, Alfredo, let's plan on a follow-up to this session. But I want to dive deeper so I can show you how powerful this can be. So we want to have 8 touch points spread out across 30 days. Okay, so that is what the 30 days of outreach. Now, a touch point is just, view that as like one step. Okay, view a touch point as a step, right? So in step 1, I'm going to send a LinkedIn message. Okay, in step 1 as well, I'm also going to send an email to the same person saying, hey, I sent you a message on LinkedIn, or say, hey, just reaching out from LinkedIn, right? Something like that. I'm going to say it's good. The copy is going to be very similar to what I'm going to put in there. I'm just doing research on your company. May I ask how your website team is organized, or whatever that first question is, right? On the same first step, I'm also going to find them on other social media platforms. Okay. I'm not going to send a message just yet, but I'm going to find their Facebook. I'm going to find their Instagram. I'm going to find their Twitter. I'm going to find their TikTok. Okay. So step 1, LinkedIn message, email, find their other social media profiles. Okay. Step 2, I'm going to send a follow-up LinkedIn sequence, right? So this will be part of it. I'm going to send a follow-up in the sequence. I'm going to send a follow-up on the email. And I'm going to add in a Facebook message with the same first approach. But in that approach, I'm going to say, hey, I tried reaching you on LinkedIn and through email.
I would also like to add in that Facebook message, like you said, the first sentence is, I reached out to you here also. But as a voice message works really well. Sending a voice message saying, hey, I also reached out to you on LinkedIn, but I found you here on Facebook. I was just wondering how your lead generation was organized. I was just wondering how your marketing was organized. I was just wondering how your website was organized, right? The one sentence, one question sentence, and it's really powerful. So voice message as an example.
Now, in that same step, I'm also going to do it on Instagram as well. Okay, so that's why it's important to find multiple social media profiles, because we want to hit them in as many places as possible in the same step. Does that make sense? Now, what we're going to do is on step 3, we're going to go back. We're going to switch it up a little bit. We're not going to hit them on the same Facebook or Instagram, but this time we're going to leave a voicemail drop from Go High Level in that step. We're going to send a follow-up LinkedIn sequence, and we're going to send a follow-up email, right? So, and then it just keeps going like that throughout the system. Lots of follow-ups to the first original pitch, different touch points from different profiles, different ways and different approaches, right? Voice messages, voicemails, direct messages, email, LinkedIn. Further down the line in the touch points, I'm going to start commenting on their profiles. I'm going to start commenting on their pictures. I'm going to start responding and sharing their TikTok videos, right? So it's just like the rule of sales, showing up 7 times before they actually buy something.
Yep.
It's a similar approach.
Exactly, in 1 month. And then I want to say this, that's really important. So it's like, what do you do after that 1 month? Okay. We call them sleepies. All right. We don't take them out. We simply pause for a little bit and send them to the next salesperson. That's it. So we give them some time, some breathing room, and then now the next salesperson takes it over. Okay. So sleepies is just an automation that we have that automatically puts someone on 1 month, 3 month, 6 month hiatus before we start reaching out to them again. Okay. And so that's what we do after the 30 days. It's not working for me. Now someone else reaches out, and now I'm reaching out to number two on the list of that qualified company. So before I was reaching out to the CMO or the COO, now I'm reaching out to this person and I'm reaching out to that person, if that makes sense. So we're not just reaching out to the one person in that company over, right? Now we reached out to that person for 30 days. Now we reach out to another person until we get that company to either tell us no or buy our product.
Yep. Any questions?
Now there's a question that popped up, Drew, as far as niches. This will work with any niche, right? Whether it be limos, lawyers, plumbers, roofers, whatever your service is. I think this one's a little bit added bonus. In fact, we talked about, cold email outreach yesterday. It ties other social platforms as well, like, right, being omnipresent.
Mhm.
Get them in your content machine. Hopefully you listen to like the Dino optimizing your Facebook and making that into a funnel, so you can let people know your expertise, your experience, the authority. You can be trusted, right?
Your niche is going to determine what your omni-channel is in the first place, right? So business to business is LinkedIn, right? If you do business, LinkedIn is all about business to business. Of course, you can do some consumer stuff, but it's all about business to business. Just in general, TikTok, Facebook, all the different things, whatever your niche is, you're just going to have to learn where your niche is hanging out on that platform. And if your niche is hanging out more on one platform than the other, that's where the benefit of this technique is. So we're showing you through the power of LinkedIn. That's how we do things, the power of LinkedIn, right?
Yep.
Point being here, your niche might determine that I need to reach out to them on LinkedIn and Facebook, while someone else might be LinkedIn and Pinterest. Okay.
Yep. Now, the other thing too, to kind of add to that is, in this strategy, we're not just using Sales Navigator alone by itself. Sales Navigator's a piece of it. It's going to help find the contacts. I want to build lists multiple ways, right? I want to do research on Sales Navigator, find companies that way. I want to use something like Dominate B2B, which we showed a little bit ago, to dive in there and scrape on Google profiles and scrape leads other ways. And then you might want to use something like Apollo or one of those other bigger databases to find leads too. But it's the same thing. We're just collecting lists of pre-qualified contact opportunities, and we're taking it, and instead of just hitting up the owner or the decision makers, we're going to message all the way down to like management level. And then once management level doesn't work out, you can even start reaching out to sales folks, right? And do the same process. The whole idea, we'll show you next time, is when you are talking to a non-decision maker, is you want to get them to say, you still want to ask them the questions. How's the website team organized, or how's your marketing organized, right? And they might say, oh, I have no idea. That's not my department, right? Oh, thanks for sharing that. May I ask who's in charge of that department? And they'll tell you, and then you know who to reach out to, and even ask them for their email.
Exactly.
Once you have their email, you're going to reach out to that person, and you're going to CC the person that gave you that information and say, hey, this guy referred me to you, and then start over with your original pitch.
I want to give one more secret about this too, and it's remembering that the salespeople of the company have answers too, right? So if you want to get some of these answers for some of your questions, you can talk to the salespeople and get questions. Employees will complain or tell you about the problems in the business too. So maybe they won't know the answer, or maybe they'll be the person that's, man, we need a website. I'm always on their website and there's issues and stuff like, who handles that? Jim handles that. You should reach out to Jim, right? So these are things and responses that you might get by building rapport with these types of people. Either they don't know, you get the internal referral. They do know, you get the internal referral. Or they know and you can't help them, you don't have to waste your time. So just a little secret part of this. But we have a few minutes left if we have any more questions.
Yep. Let's see here.
I just want to go hop on top of what Matthew said. Just because they're not in the need of it, because there's only like a good handful of like responses, right? We want yes, no, and one of those things that we should be looking for when we talk to them is, hey, you're not a good fit, but do you know somebody that is? You know, don't be afraid to ask that question as far as in your repertoire, whether they say yes or no, right? Hey, do you know somebody else that can benefit from my service?
Exactly. That's a fantastic, powerful, and assertive question that will make you a lot of money if you remember to ask. Imagine if you said that to every person that said no, and that was just a rule. If they said no, you say, fantastic, you're not qualified for this. Do you know anybody that is? Right? And even if it's 1 out of 100, you're reaching out to 2,000 people. So
Right.
it's powerful.
Cool.
Any other questions?
All right.
You don't have no other questions. I love Drew's and Matt's topic. I think we go pretty well in depth, show you examples of what that looks like right now. So I don't want to cut you guys short, Drew.
Yeah, no, just a couple more things is Matt dropped links to the course if anyone's interested in, learning some of our other prospecting techniques, our sales techniques. Check out our course that we set up. There's 42 lessons in there. It's only $97 a month. The
I think we're
other,
at 55 lessons now. I added some more in there.
did you add some more in there? Yeah, we're always adding to it.
Mm-hmm.
Always adding to it. If you want access to the ULink platform where I can get your company approved, you just have to fill out this quick form right here for me. I think I actually sent it right to, I'm sorry, I sent it right to Bad Coffee. There you go. Use that link if you want to save that real quick. Let me drop it.
I still don't see it either, Drew.
Let me drop it in the chat.
There it is. Okay.
Cool. But use that link if you want us to get you approved for this prospecting tool, which we use in this strategy. You can use whatever you want though. There's no wrong. There's no wrong. It's just something that we're used to. And we can help you and give you advice and set it up. And in some cases, if it's a good fit, run it for you or with you. We also have a LinkedIn course that does take you step by step through setting up these campaigns as well. So if you want to do it yourself, Matt dropped the link to that course up top too.
And I put it for $297, and we sell that to clients for $3,000. So yep. That's just a little heads up for you guys. That's for everyone in this course, just $297.
So I did put those two in my Facebook replay. So for those of you that don't catch the replay right away, I did post it on there, and I tagged Drew and Matt as well in there. So I put those links also on the comments.
Cool. Well, we're excited to kind of see how this progresses and give you guys some more tips and tricks along the way with it. But if we stick to it consistently and have a whole entire dedicated person to doing this outreach consistently, you'll ramp up in about it might take a little longer than you expect. It takes about 3 months to really get this pipeline going. But once we have that pipeline going, I did a call earlier today, a discovery call. They need a website. This is a bigger company. They need a website done, but it's not ready to go right now. They're looking for Q2, right? So what's going to happen is we're going to get these discovery calls. We're going to get people that need the jobs, but they're not ready to start just yet. It's going to build up a pipeline that's going to get us later. So once that 3 months comes up, we're going to have sales calls, right? And then behind that is just a whole wall of other discovery calls that have been coming in. You're setting yourself up for the whole year. So that goes back to being predictable. We can now say, hey, if I run this in January, I'm going to have X amount of sales calls by March. And if I have X amount of sales calls by March, I'm going to have this many closes. And if I have this many closes in March, I know that for April, May, June, July, what to expect, because it's all coming behind me, right? So I can plan out my entire goals from this particular lead source, and you could factor that into your percentages and goals for the year, you know?
100%. So guys, I appreciate everyone that's on here. Drew, I appreciate you. Matthew, I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you had some value here. We showed you over the shoulder on, right from Sales Navigator, how to do that, searches, how to refine it. So if you already have it, you can do this on your own, or reach out, for Drew's help, for Matthew's help. They're more than happy to, kind of find a fit, see where the best fit is for you, and how we can best navigate a solution for you to grow your company or help you grow your clients' companies or results as well. So guys, with that being said, don't forget tomorrow we have Chris Palmer, and on Wednesday, or I should say Thursday, we have Solomon with ClickX. That's going to be on here. I'm super excited to bring both of these guys on. We're going to talk about like extensions or tools with Chris Palmer tomorrow. What's good, the bad, the good, what he's tried. And then on Thursday is going to be, cold email automation, kind of like what we talked a little bit about this, where you don't have to go out and get the domain name, warm up the emails. Just pick your niche, kind of set up your copy, and they can help you with that as well. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching the replay. Thank those that are here live. I appreciate you guys. With that being said, much love, much success, and I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.
Have a good one.